Hello and welcome to another Worldly Migration video. My name is Evan Bishop, MARN 1679494, and I'm a registered migration agent which is really passionate about providing top quality customer service to our clients. Yes, obviously all migration agents, immigration lawyers look at the destination, which is the approval, and yes, we get approval to our clients, but we also look at the journey it takes to get there. And that's why I want to talk to you today about the importance of maintaining decision-ready lodgements itself. It's not enough in this day and age, and particularly with the fees you pay, not just to a professional service, but also to the Department of Home Affairs for the lodgement. It's not enough just to simply lodge an application and then just leave it and say, yeah, I'll wipe my hands of that, that's done, move on to the next thing. You need to maintain the application as decision-ready. Now, what we mean by decision-ready, and that's also what Home Affairs want to see as well, decision ready means that when they pick up the application, it's ready to make a decision, of course. So when you lodge the application, of course, you're lodging it as decision ready. But we look at processing times. The 482, which was promised to take a few weeks, the skills and demand visa, several months upon months. The 186, whether it be direct entry or transition stream, in the last few years, we've seen some changes where now so many more occupations, we're talking hundreds more occupations, can apply for this permanent residency. So we're seeing that backlogged as well. The 494 isn't quick, and heck, the 407 training visa isn't quick either. So what we're looking at here is maintaining applications that when the case officer picks it up, if it's 1 month after lodgement, 1 year after lodgement, 18 months, it is a decision-ready application. These are the tricks and tips that I do with my own clients, and I want to please pass them on to you as well. Because if you're a fellow migration agent or immigration lawyer, you might be able to get a tip or two out of this. Or if you've self-lodged yourself, then, please take a tip or two. So what you do when you lodge an application, looking, for instance, at, say, a sponsorship stage, you're looking at aspects like financial viability. It's a lawfully operating business. Well, how do you maintain that? When you lodge, you're lodging with your BAS, you're lodging with your interim P&L. Okay, so let's say we're lodging on the 30th of December. Pick the random date in my head. That's probably not a fun date to lodge. You've probably got better things to be doing, but you lodge on the 30th of December. So at that stage, you've only got one BAS return lodged for that financial year, and you've got an interim P&L. You might be showing, okay, what's happened in the 6 months since the lodgement of the company tax. And heck, if your company tax isn't lodged and finalised, you're doing a company tax prior to that as well. So then when a case officer picks that up in 6 months, 1 year, 3 months, however long it is, those financials have since been outdated. So every couple of months, you're going into the application, here's the most recent BAS, and I marry it up when I do my own company BAS, then I'm reaching out to my clients and saying, hey, I know the BAS was due last week, please have a copy of your lodged BAS statement. Interim P&L, so what's happened since that finalised lodged company tax, that finalised profit and loss statements from last year. Financial viability, it's not enough just to take the lease agreement from a client and then just simply upload it into a ME account. I look at it with the same scrutiny as if I was the delegate of the minister, and the delegate of the minister is the case officer. It's contained in section 54 of the Migration Act from 1958 that you, the case officer, must consider all information provided within the application itself. So they don't have to do the courtesy, however, of a request for information. So it could be very simple for a case officer to refuse the lodgement that you've paid thousands of dollars on by simply saying, oh, we've seen the lease agreement, but it was a bit fuzzy to read that final page. We're just going to refuse it. We don't believe you're a lawfully operating business. Or maybe the lease had expired. Maybe it wasn't countersigned properly, so it wasn't executed properly. Like, the level of finesse you need to take on your application is checking it with the same lens as if you were the case officer yourself. So it's not enough just to simply get the document, upload the document. What is that document factually telling you? And is there more needed? Do you need to supplement that? Or do you need to keep that document updated with a new document once that one expires itself? So that's financial viability, that's lawfully operating. Look at the nomination stage, regardless of what visa employer-sponsored subclass we're talking about. Going through and updating the fact that the business wants to proceed. So very simply, we do a confirmation letter with our employers that say, hey, it's a company letterhead, and they say, hey, Department of Home Affairs, we still wish to proceed with the sponsorship of Evan Bishop, date of birth, such and such, passport number, lodgement number, etc. So Otherwise, it could sit in, you do the financial viability, all that side of things. Case officer picks it up in 12 months' time and they say, oh, thank you for all that. Just wanted to check, do you still actually want to proceed with the application? Is the role still genuine and still ongoing? Could you imagine the frustration when you've waited that long and you get that simple request for information? Even if you reply to that in like 16 seconds, it could still just sit there for months upon months afterwards. So that's the level of customer service I like to do with my clients, is that not only let's avoid a refusal, of course, but let's take it a step further. Let's mitigate the risk of getting that avoidable, in my opinion, avoidable request for information itself. So yeah, that's what we're looking at: a updated company letter, updated financial viability letter, the org chart. Has there been any changes in the staffing since then, since that? Has there been a bit of an evolution in the role? Has the person received the pay rise in the role since the processing time? Equivalent workers in the business, or what's happened maybe is there been a change to the supervisor versus subordinates versus people at the same level. You need to look with fresh eyes at your application that you lodged, like I said, every 1 to 2 months, and think, okay, what has potentially changed and what can we do to keep this decision ready and keep it fresh? I mean, if I can't give 100 examples, but like just an example, if it's an application where there was purchase orders and invoices and stuff like that, well, then you would put in those updated ones from there, wouldn't you? You wouldn't just leave that in there. You would update those every few months. If it was all pending on the genuine nature of the role itself, was because there's this project that was secured and that project's going to go for 6 months, and it's been towards the end of the 6 months since that project started, since the application was lodged. Well, if I was the case officer and picked that up, well, hey, why would I approve that? Because you said it was needed, and that 6 months isn't a good example, but let's say 12 months, you're doing a 12-month 482 visa, for instance. So then you'd say, well, let's get updated proof that there is still genuine ongoing work for this role thereafter. So please, hopefully you really got a tip or two out of this. The whole purpose of this chat today was tips about keeping your applications decision ready. I'm not using scare tactics. I'm just coming from a good, honest place of this is what works for me. And I hate a lot of people, a lot of either other migration agents and immigration lawyers say, hey, Evan, we got this refusal. What do you think? And I see exactly what I would have done differently in the first place. Or people that Google search, I've got a refusal, they find my business, we do a consultation together, and I go through, well, yeah, potentially this could have been avoided if you just had it done A, B, C, and D. And those few things are all very administrative, aren't they? Just, getting updated financials, checking everything is still valid and in date. Very administrative, but it's that little bit of administrative finesse that I need you to take to keep your applications watertight and decision ready. Thank you for watching. My name is Evan Bishop of World in Migration, registered migration agent number 1679414. Please, if you've enjoyed this tip, we'll put in some links below. We've got plenty of blogs, plenty of other videos, and yeah, a good free tip or two out there for you. And if you want to get some structured, tailored legal advice, you know who to reach out to for a consultation. Thank you for watching.